A contagem de chapas começou em 2015. A pesquisa tem a intenção de coletar dados sobre o número de viaturas que fazem o serviço de chapas na área metropolitana de Maputo durante 30 dias. Este vídeo é a apresentação dos resultados da pesquisa na Semana de Mobilidade Sustentável e Clima em Dakar.
Okay, I'm coming from the Observatory of Mobility and Transport from Mozambique, and also I'm working very close with the Metropolitan Agency of Transport of Maputo. Okay, I don't remember how you call these minibuses here in Dakar. Carrapin. Okay, Carrapin. In Mozambique, we call mainly chapas. Of chapas, 15 seats is a little van, and 26 seats is the coaster. You know? Yes. We are in Maputo. I don't know. Maputo is the capital of Mozambique. Right now, it's a metropolitan area. In Maputo, with Matola, Boane, Maracuene, all the municipalities we surround. Also, you need to know that in Mozambique, the transport is already decentralized. The control and the duty about the transport, urban transport, is on the municipality of Maputo, Matola, Boane, and Maracuene. Have you seen, we are a metropolitan, you know what it is? This is the night light pollution. This is a map you can find on the website, and mainly you can identify that the limits, the borders, we identify that as an administrative way to organize the space is not the same how the people live. Right now, over there, you can feel the system, what is a metropolitan space, not the limits of the administrative borders. Okay, what do you know about the chapas? In 2021, we know, for example, that we had in Maputo, Boane, and Amatola, 2,554 vehicles of chapas. Of them, it's true that the quality of the imaging is not the best. But for example, we can see that mainly, this is the capital, Maputo, but the main number of chapas is not in the capital, it's in the bigger city of the country about population, which is Matola. It's in a side of Maputo. And this is the third Boane in the south, another more legal municipality. For example, we know that the 91% of the chapas are 15 seats, and not the bigger one, who is 9% is the cluster, the bigger one. We know, for example, we have in this area, we have 7 different associations controlling each route, for example. And we know that we already, in all this route, all this space, we have 158 routes, different routes, who move from one place to another. This is Maputo. Oh, I cannot see the numbers, but all the chapas who start in Maputo, and some of them go to Maputo, and some of them go to other cities, but mainly this is Matola. Matola moved almost a half of these chapas to connect with the capital. And the other one with Matola inside, from one place to another, and the rest other places around the metropolitan area. What we know also, we know how large is the numbers of vehicles who work each day of the week. More or less, just 66% of the vehicles work, of the total fleet, work each day, in the work day. And when we arrive to the Saturday, more or less, we lost a few part of the vehicles, but not the total. And never, in Sunday, we are just arriving to the 50% of the vehicles of the fleet is working during this day. But 50% is still a large number of capacity. Other number we know, and it's important, how many days work each chapa per month? 21 days. Why is important all of that? This project is about counting chapas. Counting chapas is strange. Who can like that? I know. Firstly, it's a component of the mapping of the chapas in Maputo. In 2017, we launched this map with all the routes, here you can find 325 bus stops. You can find more or less 32 routes along this is Maputo city. But right now you cannot see the real capacity of each corridor. But if you mix the two data, you arrive to this map where you can see that the main corridor is this is the national one, the Avenida Mozambique, where most of the capacity is the strong capacity over here. And you can see the other parts and how, for example, this is at the beginning, was in 2015, and this is at the beginning when we built another road, alternative road over here. Right now, if we, I don't have this map, but if we could compare with now, we will see that the large of this corridor will be much more bigger. It's important also know the capacity. How's the capacity along the years? We start this campaign in 2015. It's true that we couldn't do in 2016, but we start again in 2017. And this is the number of chapa in the city of Maputo, just the city of Maputo, because we started in the city of Maputo, and year by year we widen the research. But to bring a comparison, we have that, and we discovered that we are losing capacity on the system. What this means is more time on the bus stop, more time of to the people to arrive to this destination, and more suffer, because most of the people who use the public transport suffer on the transport. And we have less capacity, and we have evidence to demonstrate that. This is a figure just about, we increase the number, right now we are counting much more, but because we are widely compressing more areas, that's because we have more numbers. How we do that? We work with this association. I explained until last year we worked with 8 associations. Right now we're working with 11 associations this year. We have a campaign every year from 15th of August to 14th of September. And we work, you see this is a map of people. It's left in green. Is one controller controlling one of the terminals of the Chapa around the metropolitan area. And here you can contain 80 controllers from the association and working with us, filling this table. If this is a number plate, this is the days, and they will tell us if this plat may work this day and this other day. We also have a database with more than 5,000 number plates. And finally, we digitalize this information and we we clean and analyze the data. But everything coming from the field work and the work with the people who are every day on the terminals. We have several challenges, but right now I can identify 3. Maybe after 7 years, the method, we have fatigue on the controllers. We pay a little bit them, we compensate them for this work, but they are asking for more, and maybe sometimes that you feel that they don't have love for the data enough to the accuracy of the data. Second, we are start managing a massive tables with 5 years of information. that for us is start to be a challenger. We maybe need to increase our skills to manage this data. That's because we are start to think we need to introduce the technology on the field work. We are, for example, start to think that maybe with POS, I don't know how you say in English, I think it's POS, is this machine maybe to pay and give you a ticket. If we have a work to make an app and introduce in a POS and give to the controllers to use every day along the year, we will have data for in live data for every day of the year. Imagine how can we do with that, and how can evidence and indicators we can give to the policymakers. Thank you. This is, as I say, is part of it's a component of the project Mapa dos Transportes. Thank you for your attention.
Muchas gracias, Joaquín Romero de Tejada. Alors, on va prendre des questions en français et en anglais. Si vous parlez anglais, n'hésitez pas à les traduire vous-même, et si vous avez besoin de traduction, je le ferai. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions?
Thanks a lot for the presentation. I was just wondering about the trends in terms of the numbers that you observed, whether COVID or any of the bigger events that were happening had an impact on these numbers, and if so, how did the operators of the chapas react to that?
Merci beaucoup. Je voudrais le féliciter d'abord pour cette présentation très intéressante, très instructive. Je voulais savoir un peu l'historique à mon retour. Est-ce que le système de transport classique, comment ça a été avant? C'est comme ici Dakar, parce qu'on prend le cas des caravanes déjà. Est-ce que c'est un système de transport par société privée? Ici, c'est des individuels pour la plupart qui ont leur car, qui font du transport. Comment ils ont réussi, et c'est le même cas, comment ils ont réussi à organiser pour créer par exemple des lignes et tout, et également comment ils ont fait pour aussi enrôler la population. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, on a la question de l'instruction pour payer par carte.
So the second question, well, first of all, we wanted to thank you for the quality of the presentation and the details that were provided. And he wanted to see if you could provide some additional context, historical context. What was the system of transport before? What was the one that was dominating? And also cultural context compared to Senegal. Is mobility mostly assured by individuals? Are there companies working on it? Or is it more be like individual private drivers that ensure the mobility?
Voilà, la suite de la question, c'est par rapport à comment ils ont, par rapport aux populations du pays, parce que le système de paiement par carte, il faut avoir une carte bancaire ou une carte prépayée. Ici, c'est un peu comment ils ont fait pour convaincre en tout cas les gens à aller dans le système de paiement électronique, parce que ça nécessite quand même un accord entre les acteurs, les passagers et comment s'appelle et même comment on appelle les transporteurs et autres. En tout cas, comment ils ont fait cette cohérence, concertation des acteurs, et également la cartographie, comment ça a été élaboré.
He also wanted to have additional information on how the map was made, and was asking about how were you able to mobilize the citizens, how were they able to change their behavior, and how are you able to make sure people would adhere to that means of payment. So maybe you could give some additional context on it.
Okay, I will try. Firstly, about the COVID crisis. Okay, the COVID crisis is stuck and have a big, very big impact on the transport system in Mozambique, because our transport systems depends of the overcrowding of the vehicles. The operators, if they don't feel very well the vehicles, they don't earn enough money at the end of the day. That's because with the measures that the government put on the table to try to limit the capacity, the contagion, limited the capacity of the system, we feel that some of the operators stop the vehicles, for example, because don't deserve the movement, and also bring the ones who keep on the road, on the streets. And we feel that the conflict between the passengers and the conductors and the drivers increase very much. The drivers and the conductors start to get some special strategies to try to get more. For example, sort the routes. For example, put limitation to the access. If you want to access them, you need to pay more. One important data of the context, you need to know that in Mozambique the price is determined by the government, by the municipality. And we are coming from a socialist system, but I know we are very liberalist, but there are some prices very sensitive for the population. The price of the bread, for example, is controlled by the government, and the price of the chapa is controlled by the government. What is the problem? The problem is the government don't subsidize enough the operators. That's because for some of them don't deserve to put the vehicles on the road, or maybe move to another kind of transport, as inter-provincial one, for example, which is more lucrative. You asked about, for example, we discovered a difference between the Western countries, or less Accra and Sierra Leone, compared with the southern one. The control of the terminal is from the owners of the vehicles, not from the drivers. They are not union about drivers. For example, in the Western, we discovered that, I don't know if in Dakar is the same, but in Freetown and in Accra and in Kumasi was the drivers, the union of drivers who control the terminals. And this is really a very different situation. I don't know if I can give you much more context after the next presentation, whatever you want. If you the last slide show my email. If you anybody want my email, I can share my email. Thank you very much. That's it.
Queremos agradecer a colaboração das associações de transportadores de Maputo, Matola, Boane e Marraconha.